What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. I don't know if you could just hear that, but my cat, she's sleeping on the couch behind me, she's right there. And I've started this voiceover like 3 times now because every time I start talking, she literally starts talking back to me, and it has been like this for 10 minutes. So I don't know, are you done now? I think she is. She just wanted to say hi as well, I guess. So she quickly got that out of her system. And now we can move on with this build. So welcome to another speed build. Today I am building a tiny home for a teacher in the world of Newcrest. I was just really in the mood to build something small, something cutesy, something tiny, and this house is definitely very cutesy. It's very colorful, and I built it for a primary school teacher is what I was imagining. So I was thinking that the person who's living here, they are very happy and just have a very like happy and bright personality, if that makes sense. And they just really enjoy being around kids. And yeah, so they're a primary school teacher is what I was envisioning. I was thinking that they are living alone. So I was also thinking that they are probably still very young, so definitely still a young adult. And I was thinking that they don't really have a partner just yet, and yeah, they're just focusing on their career for now. And they're living alone in this tiny home, but you could actually have 2 Sims living in this house if you wanted to, because there is a double bed in here. So yeah, you could definitely have a couple live in this house as well. Starting a family here would be a little bit difficult because it is definitely a very small house and it only has 1 bedroom and it only has room for 1 bedroom as well. So yeah, you could probably just, if you want to start a family, you could probably just expand the house a little bit because there is a lot of space left on the lot. I definitely did not take up all of the space on this lot. So yeah, you could definitely go ahead and expand the house if you wanted to do that. But I just built it for a single sim, or at least with a single sim in mind. And I tried to make this house very colorful. So you can see that I used that blue greenish color on the main part of the build. I think that's a siding from Spa Day, if I'm not mistaken. And then I combined it with just some base game bricks on the right side of the build in that more like beigey orangey color. And there's also just an extra little bump out over there on that side as well. And I used the more like modern wallpaper from Eco Lifestyle for that. So everything is very like color scheme wise, it's very matchy and cutesy. And I just had a lot of fun with it. I did once again use some Dream Home Decorator in this house because I just couldn't help myself. But also because the modular couch was perfect for this house. And also the kitchen, I used one of the new kitchens that we got with the pack, and it was just too perfect. The colors were so good and I just had to use them. So yeah, I definitely did use a little bit of Dream Home Decorator in this house as well. I hope you don't mind, but the items are just so nice and so perfect and definitely suited this little tiny house as well. I did use the tiny living tile count for this house as well. You can see that I used up to 83 tiles, if I'm not mistaken. I think it ended up being 87 tiles in total, if I'm not mistaken, but definitely under 100 tiles. So the game sees it as a small home. So if you do have tiny living, then you can definitely, you will definitely get some perks from living in a small house. So you can do that if you want to. And yeah, you can definitely just see the whole shape and the color scheme of the exterior come together. I placed a little porch by the front door, like a little front porch, and then also a porch on the side of the house off of the bedroom. I initially actually completely forgot to furnish that little porch. So you don't see that in the speed build, sadly, because I just completely spaced out on it. But when I went in to take the screenshots, I realized that I hadn't furnished it. And so I quickly went ahead and did that off camera. But I mean, that little porch is so small, like it doesn't really matter. I just placed a couple of vertical planters, like the decorative ones, not the functional ones, but the decorative ones from Eco Lifestyle, and just a couple of chairs so that your sim can just sit there and hang out for a little while. But that is all that I could fit on that little porch, so you didn't really miss much. But yeah, at the end of the video, obviously we'll jump in game and I'll quickly show you the house. So then you'll see that too. But here you can see I got started on the landscaping. It's nothing special. I was trying to make it look a little bit more on the manicured side of things. It's not too overgrown. You can definitely tell that all these plants have been placed here because the sim wanted there to be plants there, basically, so it's not very natural. However, it does look really cutesy and pretty in my opinion. And I was also thinking that this house was probably pretty like newly built as well. So yeah, it's a pretty recently built house. So the landscaping is not that old yet either, if that makes sense. Like the landscaping is pretty new and recent as well. So I didn't want it to be too overgrown for that reason mainly. And also because it's just something different for me to do. I usually do these like very lush and overgrown things with my landscaping basically. But for this one, I recently have really been enjoying making it a little bit more manicured. So that's what I did for this house as well. And then you can see that I fenced in the backyard, and I added a little garden in the backyard as well, where your sim can just do some gardening, plant some just fruits and vegetables or flowers or whatever you want to plant. But there is a little garden in the backyard, so I thought that that was really cute. I was definitely thinking that the sim that lives here is into gardening and they really enjoy doing that in their free time whenever they're not at school teaching. So that is something that I thought of that I thought was really cute. And yeah, you can see that I definitely did not use up the whole lot for the backyard, because that would just be a little bit out of proportion to have like a small house like this with a very, very big backyard. So I just decided to not use up the whole lot. And that definitely does leave some space for you to expand the house if you want to. So that's the thing that you can do for sure. And you can see that I also placed a debug car in front of the house on the tiny little driveway. Everything about this house is very small, but I was definitely very much enjoying it. It's a very tight little driveway, but it fits, and this car is really small too. So I thought it was perfect for this house. I thought that the sim, she or he, I didn't really necessarily think of a gender, but maybe subconsciously, maybe I was thinking more of a woman, given the fact that I just called the sim a she. But it doesn't have to be a woman or a man. It really doesn't matter. I really didn't think about the genders too much. But what I was trying to say is I was definitely thinking that the sim living here, they probably drive to work. I was thinking that the school is maybe a little bit, well, not very far away, but maybe just a little drive away, so they can just take the car to school. I also placed a bike in the backyard, so they can also go by bike, like in the summertime when the weather is nice. They can just decide to go ahead and ride their bike instead of the car. So I thought that that was really cute as well. And yeah, here you can see I was just placing some hedges and some bushes around. And I was also really enjoying this little pathway around the house. I don't know why, it's very basic. Usually I create these little pathways with terrain paint instead of with actual tiles, like with actual flooring. But for this one, because I wanted it to be a little bit more on the manicured side and a little bit more like recently built looking, and yeah, just a little bit more on the modern side as well, I think. That's why I decided to use floor tiles instead of terrain paint to make it look a little bit more precise, if you will. And I really like how that came out. I think it's something different for me, and yeah, just something a little bit out of my comfort zone, I guess, but I think it looks really nice. But I think we are getting started with the interior of the build now, and I was using a lot of lighter wood tones for this one. I'm using this base game flooring that I rarely ever use. I barely ever use this color or this like swatch of this flooring, but I think it looks really nice. I really enjoy how it lights up the whole space a little bit. I also really didn't want to use any dark colors in here because it is already so small. It's such a tight little space that I didn't really want to use like overpowering dark colors. However, the house is very colorful, so I did use a lot of just brighter colors. You can see that I chose this blue swatch of the kitchen. I really love this swatch. I think it's so nice. It definitely does not suit every single build that I do, but this house, I don't know, it just really looks so cute, and also with the thought in mind that a primary school teacher lives here. For some reason, that just works out perfectly. So I was definitely having a lot of fun with the kitchen. It's quite small, but I mean, everything fits and everything works. I left the corner counter free of clutter, so your Sims can use the corner counter to actually cook food. And that all works. I made sure to play test everything. I can't speak today, I'm sorry. And I also gave them a coffee maker because I was thinking that the Sim, they probably need to get up very early in the morning every day to go ahead and go to school or just go to work. So they could definitely use some coffee in the morning is what I was thinking. So I just gave them a little coffee machine. And I was trying to figure out the colors for the walls. I placed a little accent wall, if you will, behind the stove. I used the same tiles from Spot A. I think they're from Spot A. I'm pretty sure they are. I used the same tiles as I used for the whole backsplash, except I picked a different swatch. I used that like orangey swatch, which matches perfectly with the wooden details on the counters, like the handles and stuff and the sides of the counters. So that color matched perfectly, and I repeated that color in the bathroom as well for an accent wall around or just where the shower is. And I think it looks really cute. So yeah, this house is definitely very, very matchy-matchy, but that was also definitely the vibe that I was going for. And you can see that I just placed a little 2-seater dining table in here. And I actually ended up placing a laptop over there as well, because at first I was definitely thinking that I wanted to create a little office space, because I think that a teacher could definitely use a little office space, but the house was just too small. Like, I couldn't make it work. It definitely wouldn't fit in the bedroom, and I didn't really have space for it in the living room either. So I just decided to go ahead and place a laptop on the dining table, because I don't know, whenever the Sim has to do a little bit of work at home, just prepare their lessons and things like that, they can just sit at the dining table and do it right there. Or I was imagining that they would probably just go to school a little bit earlier or stay at work a little bit later and just do it from there, like prepare their classes like from the classroom, if that makes sense. But yeah, I figured they didn't really need a specific like study area right now. Like, whenever they move to a bigger house or something, if they ever end up doing that, then obviously they will make room for an office space. But right now in this house, it doesn't really fit, and but that's okay. Like, it doesn't really matter. They're not really missing anything. So, but yeah, here you can see that I used the modular sofa in here in this light blue swatch, which I think is just so cutesy, and the color suits the build perfectly. I just think it looks so nice. The colors are so satisfying to me for some reason. I just really enjoy the color combinations that I used in this house. But yeah, this corner sofa was perfect for this shape, shape of the living room that I ended up with. So I just made use of it, and I placed a little end table with a TV on it and just a little coffee table from Tiny Living. I used a lot of Tiny Living in here, as you can see. I used the chairs and that little coffee table, and also the paintings I think I ended up placing somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure if I did that. But I guess we'll find out. But you can see that I also sized down some curtains above the couch and just placed them by the windows, obviously. And here you can see that I was definitely struggling or just trying to place a little desk, but I quickly decided against it. I mean, you could obviously fit a little one-tile desk in that counter, but I did not really like how it looked. And also, I wanted a proper space for a bookshelf, so I just decided to go for the bookshelf instead of the desk, because it was just a little bit too cramped and it was too many chairs in one little space, if that makes sense. Just I didn't really like the way it looked. So I decided to place a bookshelf, and I'm really happy that I did that. I've never used that swatch of the modular bookshelf either. I used the yellow swatch, as you could see. And it was definitely something that I thought suited this whole teacher vibe perfectly. So yeah, I'm just really happy that I decided to place that. And here you can see this is the bedroom, which is also very small. I used a lot of yellow and blue in here combined with some different just pops of color here and there. And I placed the hanging lights over one of the nightstands, which I think looks really nice. Those lights are from Tiny Living as well. And then I used a dresser from Tiny Living in here as well, because that literally was the only dresser I could fit in here. And then I combined it with these little shelving units or little storage units from, what's it called? Dream Home Decorator. I've been really wanting to use those little storage units. I don't really know what to call them, but I've been really wanting to use them, and I keep forgetting that they exist, and then I just end up not using them. But for this build, I use them, and I think they look perfect. And once again, they're perfect for that whole primary school teacher vibe, in my opinion. I feel like those storage units are definitely something you could find in an actual classroom. So yeah, I thought that they looked perfect in here. And then I also just quickly placed some crafted things, like some little crafted pictures and things like that. I just quickly placed a couple of those on the wall in the bedroom. I was imagining that she probably was gifted those pictures from like her students or just students that she used to have, but she's not teaching anymore. But I just definitely figured that she was gifted those crafted little pictures from kids that she used to teach, which I thought was really cute. And she was also, or they, I'm once again not sure if they are a he, a she, or a they, or whatever they are. But I was definitely thinking that they are the person to save those pictures and just to hang them up on the wall at home, because yeah, it's just something that they really love and that is so like important to them, and it just means a lot to them. So I just placed them on the wall. I thought that that was a cute little detail. But here you can see I am decorating the little backyard. It's very small, but I did want to make sure and just place a little dining table and a grill, and also an outdoor like bench or couch or just hangout situation, if you will. So I just placed a little couch and yeah, just a little additional poof or whatever you want to call it on the back porch, and then just a couple of plants. And you can also see that I placed some debug plants in the garden, and I actually used a couple of cheats to make them grow. You can see that in the screenshots, and also probably when we hop into the game and I show you the house in real time, then you will definitely see that I used some cheats to actually have the plants grow. I just think it looks so cute, and I thought it was a cute hobby for this sim to have, to just really be into gardening whenever they have time. I don't know, it's just so wholesome to me and so cute, so I was definitely enjoying that a lot. But yeah, I'm just placing a couple of extra plants here and there, just a little bit of landscaping, and then that's about it. So let's hop into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the little teacher's tiny home in real time. I think the facade looks so pretty, and I think that this color of the siding is also very pretty. I don't use it very often, but for this house, for this whole like colorful teacher vibe, I thought it was so cute and perfect. And it also matches really well with this lighter wood swatch that I used everywhere. But as you can see, I just placed a little car in front, and here we have that little porch off to the side that I initially completely forgot to furnish, but I just placed a couple of vertical planters over here and a couple of chairs. So I was just imagining that your sim could just sit there and relax and have a cup of coffee and read a book or something like that. But then when we go inside, here we have the interior of the house. The kitchen might be my favorite part, mainly because I just really love this swatch of the countertops and the cabinets. I think it's so cute. And also, I also really enjoy this wall detail, this color right here. But then as you can see by the front door, we have a coat hanger and just some shoes. I'm so thankful for this shoe clutter. It's just so nice and perfect to have. And here we have the very small living area. However, they do have a very nice and spacious couch, thanks to the fact that we have modular couches now, because you can just create the perfect shape for your builds and it just really definitely came in handy for this build, so I'm really thankful for that. But here you can see we have the TV over here and the bookcase, and then over here we have the bathroom, where once again I use this orangey accent color, and I just think it combines really nicely with gray as well. So yeah, I'm just overall really happy with this very simple little bathroom. And then over here we have the very colorful bedroom. It's very yellow and blue, which is one of my favorite color combinations. And we have a couple of pictures on the wall here that I was talking about in the speed build as well, that she was probably gifted by one of the kids that she teaches. I hung up a couple more of those over on this side. I just thought it was a really cute little detail, so I just quickly wanted to point that out to you. But here we have the tiny dresser situation and just some additional storage over here. And then over here outside where my sim is hanging out, we have the backyard. I really enjoy this backyard. I think it just looks so wholesome and cute, and we have a nice area to hang out over here, as well as a grill and a dining table. And I also placed a lounge chair so your sim can do some sunbathing. And of course, the little garden over here. Oh, my plants are gone. That's okay. There are 3 left. But yeah, you can actually, if you have cheats enabled, you can actually shift click these little plants and you can set the gardening state to whatever you want. So maybe you want them blossoming, or let's say maybe you want them sprouted. So I just always think that that is a really neat little tip and just a fun thing that you can do. But over here we have the outdoor bin and the bicycle, and of course the flower arranging table as well. But that is actually it for this build. So this teacher's tiny home is up on the gallery, and it comes in at 44,271 simoleons. So it's definitely not a starter home, but I feel like it's not that expensive either. I mean, it's way less expensive than most of my builds. Granted, it is a very small house, so yeah, for a tiny home, I feel like it's maybe a little bit expensive, but it's really cute. But that is actually it for this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this build. You can definitely go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!